So in this video, you take apart, I start taking apart the front cover thinking I need to. You don't need to. I know I mentioned that several times throughout, but I'm going to show you how it's done, and then you can see some of the issues that come up and go from there.
Yeah, they normally what you do is take these front covers off. I was trying to be a minimalist and not take the cover off. But guess what? We're going to have to take the cover off.
Read that again, because see if I'm correct.
There you are.
This?
So, I think we can just use...
It says, remove the cabinet in reference to cabinet.
Yeah, I got it.
Pull out the 2 line recorder control knobs and 2 mic record level control knobs.
Yeah, we're doing it.
Okay. You want to do that on film?
I am doing it on film. Jossie Live. That's my wife, folks. She's reading the technical service manual. Oh my God, how many times am I going to say that? I don't want to annoy you. But, you know, if you've never done this before, honestly, there's a bunch of stuff in there I don't understand. But there is some diagrams, and I showed you earlier. Let me see if I can get this out. Normally you use a deep socket. I don't really have one. She didn't want to be on camera, so she just ran out of the room. But no, she's been very helpful. And she has tiny hands to get into some of these places. Oh, good Lord. How big is this? There we go. Remember your white bowl when you're working on a lot of parts and stuff. So actually it's going to make this a lot easier, I think, once we get it off. We got a bunch of screws to take out as well. So I will fast forward this. Hey, so we've gotten these off. Okay, we think. Let's see what you're seeing here. Still working in this crevice over here. So the tape counter belt is on, and the little green thing we were talking about right here is back. The problem is, does that belt clear that? If it does, it's not by much. And trying to get this thing back on, whoopee. I'll tell you what. Oh, that. The power, there's a long power thing here. Okay, getting better. There we go. Over here, there's, right up here, there's a power, it goes all the way back to this switch back here. And there's a little slot for it, for the button. So once we push that in, and push out the button. All right, so we're going to figure that out now. Okay. Oh, I think we're okay. Let me just try to put it back on. Oops. There's a little slot for it. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's see what's happened. All the buttons came out. Yeah. Yeah, that's why everything's going in wonky. It's a technical term. Man, this thing gets stuck. What we have to do is these buttons have long poles connected to them, these guys here, and they have to get put back in their little slots. So, and it is dark in here. So, oh boy. I'll tell you what, I'm going to wrestle with this. You got to line everything up basically, so give me a second. Okay, we got the cover back in with 2 screws. Make sure all the buttons are out. And that was sort of the tricky part. There's slots in the back of the black holes where the button levers go in. Because it actually extended back. So now, okay, there's a couple things. Is my head in the way? We have to do. I'm going to put a picture of it. So it's right down here. This metal part needs to get, it has a stem sticking down. It has to go in this switch And then there is a spring that we have to reconnect, but we're gonna check to see where that goes. I've taken pictures, we're almost there to be able to test it. So stand by. It's, it's fiddly, you gotta have some patience. And looks like my wife was able to help and we were able to get the cover back on with all the buttons lined up. Like I say, you need about 6 hands sometimes. So stand by, let me see, I'll take a picture of the spring and you'll have it on there to look at. Hey folks, okay, I've been away for about a day. We got the mechanism back in and it, guess what, didn't work at all. We were able to get power to the unit, but we couldn't get anything going on. So, a couple of lessons learned here. It works right now, kind of, and I'll tell you what the issues are in a second. First off, the couple issues were not understanding and looking closely at the picture where things were plugged in. Luckily, I had the picture, I just read it wrong and plugged stuff in the wrong place. So nothing worked. The mechanism wouldn't work at all. So then pulled it out, and then we figured out that we had a spring that pulls the record play switch. That's the real long one. There's a spring hook to it, and I had it hooked to the wrong thing. Sorry. And fixed that. Then it still didn't work. I looked at the back of the mechanism. In between the circuit board and this metal piece, in the circuit board, there's a little switch, like a little black switch. We cleaned it earlier. I think I showed that. And when I put this circuit board back on, I missed the target of the little thing that's like this. So it goes in here. Sorry for the hand gestures. It goes in like this. Well, it was sitting, which way do I go? This, it was sitting way over here. So I had to pull it back out and make sure it got in. So we did that. And like I said, a couple of miswired things. Luckily, nothing blew up when I applied power. Also, the small counter belt is the worst part of putting this back in. You have to do it with the mechanism half out, and you need about 4 hands. And luckily, I was able to do it, and the counter's working, which is good. And I can play tapes. I can fast forward. I don't know if I can record yet. I'm gonna have more on that later. I have a thing I bought on the internet. It's a tape. Let's see, is that upside down? Probably. How about that? It's 3,000 hertz, just a 0 dB speed. It tests wild flutter, but it sends a 3,000 signal, 3,000 hertz signal out. So you can look at your VU meters on the front, these guys. I'm sorry, I can't really show you right down. And to see if they're set at 0 and they should be constant. So the right side's a little low. Now, here's the good news. There are adjustments for that in this board somewhere. There's little screws that you can adjust to make that better. Now we're going to look at this. This is where the service manual again comes in. We're going to look at the service manual, see where those adjustments are, and see if we can bring that up to where it's playing. When it plays, it's playing at the right level. So it wasn't really off all that much, which was good. Also, we had an issue with these guys. We took this front panel off, which, by the way, you don't need to unless there's an issue in here, because getting it back on was kind of a nightmare, because you got to line up all 4 of these poles that go into the sockets of the buttons. so that they're free. As you can see, I'm working one now, and another one, you can see them kind of moving. We weren't sure what was going on. It was like too much torque on them, so I couldn't even move them. And come to find out, it's a matter of putting things back correctly and the screws in. I had made earlier statements about maybe leave some screws out because you want to test it and you're going to have to probably take it apart. Well, probably not made for that because without the screws properly getting everything aligned in here, it caused some problems. So we did that. So we're back together, and I'm going to see if I can fancy-dancy turn this. That's actually right for you guys. Now let's just see a little demo, and then we'll go over what's still wrong. All right, so here we go, a little power. So we have our VU meters lit up. And I'm gonna tell you the one thing I love about Sharp decks. They have a light behind the darn tape. You can't see, or I can't, even when I was a young man, I couldn't see, like how much tape is left on that reel, as it's moving. Sharps, even the cheapest model, all had the light. They didn't have that stupid orange tape or green tape that the Day-Glo stuff. This is an actual light, so it works much better. Now, I'm gonna press play, and you should see, if I can do it. All right, you see the VU meters going up. This should be at about 0. Now it's off. So it should be back right where the black meets the red on each meter. So this is a 3000 hertz, 0 dB tone. Look at the counters working, right? And I notice if you fool with the bias and stuff, you can bring those down to where they look proper. And I forget which bias this is for, but that's a pretty cheap tape. I would think it would be run like this. But like this looks better. Looks about right. This one's a little low. So yeah, yay, right? So we'll stop that. Now, fast forward. Seems fine. Going, we stop that. Play, you saw. Now, rewind. The problem is, looks good. Can you hear it? It's bogging down. And as the tape goes further and further on the, it would be this one, it slows down and slows down and slows down. And I'm not sure what's causing that. I might have an idea. I think I have the wrong belt in it, and I ordered another one because the one I have upstairs is right here. We used it as a model to see what, probably see it slowing down. It's like I haven't, you need Scotty in the engine room for this one. It's like I need more power, But anyway, so I'm not sure what's happening. There's no gear slipping I can hear, and there's just slowing to the point where, as you see, if you can see, I'm sorry. You see, it's like it will get to the end. And oh, by the way, auto stop works. Very nice. So I haven't recorded yet, and we have this reverse problem. But here's the victory here. I'm just going to go ahead and stop it just in case it's screwing it up. The victory is this thing, when it came, had a belt that had literally melted onto the capstan. I wish I had a picture of that. Unfortunately, I just jumped right into it back when I got it, about a year ago, actually, and tried to Dremel it off, and you've heard that, all that stuff I've talked about, and then got it on. So it didn't work at all. It powered up. Most of the ones you buy, like used, that say need parts or as is, they're in this state. It's probably belt related, but not all the time, right? So you do take a chance with what the problems are. I had bad belts, a gear that just disintegrated, a tire and a grommet that had turned into the La Brea tar pits. So there was a bunch of stuff wrong. Now we've gone through and fixed all that. I am hopeful to get this running. And I'm really kind of excited. I've never, this is called a revival, I guess, bringing it back from the dead. And, the junkyard, save the junkyard, the stuff, right? So very exciting. I'm gonna get back to you when I got more information. And look, it even turns off. So stay tuned. Hey there. Okay. Now we had mentioned that this is a nightmare. It's loose and you can't. This is dangerous. Okay. I'm unplugged. Make sure you're unplugged, dude. Or you're gonna learn what it feels like to do the twist in your seat. It doesn't feel good, actually. When I was a kid, I'll tell you how genius I was. I put my finger in a light bulb socket. And I know there's a lot of you 50, 60-year-olds probably did the same thing. But yeah, you talk about doing the twist. Good Lord. Don't do that. Yeah, bad idea. My mom's like, you idiot. But anyway, so luckily I was okay. Well, debatable, I guess. So the first thing I'm going to do is cut the tape off here as best I can so we can watch your fingers. Try to cut away from your body. Anyway, you can tell I'm a little excited because, like I said, it actually kind of works. So I'm going to give it a B- right now. So, okay, so there was some electrician's tape on there, and this is the old limiter that looks like a dog chewed it or something. So we need to figure out how this works. Now I have some new ones. Oh my goodness. Of course I should have opened them already. Apologize for the racket. And I got a bunch of them. Man, if you need a limiter, write me. I'll send it to you. We can give it to you for free. Because I have all these. They were, I don't know, 12 bucks, 15 bucks. So I think the ones, or I'm hoping the ones I need, are right here. And what we're going to have to do, it's kind of nice. It's a little hard to see. It's all black on black. They have a, piece. It's hard plastic. We're going to have to feed it through there, darn. I was hoping we could sort of coax it through. I am hoping that's the right size. Or I've got, 100 of these for nothing. So let's see. There was a thing on the thing, right? Oh, God. Man, what did I do with this? Good Lord. I'm tempted just to cut this off. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's see what's under this piece of work. Don't slice me, please. It's funny, when I was a kid, we got home from vacation. I was 8 years old. Just got back from the beach. Just got back. And I wanted to go see my cousin, Steve. And I said, Mom, I'm going down to see Steve. She's like, put your shoes on. I'm like, okay. And it's like, right, boom. Of course, I didn't put my shoes on. Ran about 30 feet outside the house. My heel slipped on the hill, and I felt a little ting or whatever. I was like, what the hell was that? So I kept walking until I realized I really couldn't feel my heel, and I looked back to a trail of blood. Ew. And immediately, you're a little kid, right? You freak out. And so what had happened was the old Coca-Cola bottles, you used to return them to the store. Somebody had broken one, and the bottom was sitting up jagged. And I had caught that with my heel and literally almost ripped my heel off. Go back to the house. I'm bleeding on the front porch. And it was hilarious. My mother is just, what did you do? I told you to get your shoes on. And I'm crying, and it was just the best. And she had to take me to the hospital. Well, I needed I still have a really bad scar. I needed I want to say it was 14 to 20 stitches. And what had happened was I'd severed a nerve ending. So for the longest time, I could, if you touched my heel like this, I couldn't feel it. Now it's kind of better. That was, of course, 58 years ago. So I'll regale you with kid stories, but be careful with the knife is sort of the bottom line here. And let's see what they did here. I'm unwrapping this. Hopefully you can see me. I am actually working and not telling tall tales. I can show you a scar if I want. Oh, that's good. These are actually good to have. But now what we need to do, because they're protected, this is a type, I haven't seen these, it's almost, I was expecting to see wire nuts. Those electrical things you screw two wires together. Oh, there went our trashy limiter, poor thing. So let's take a look. I'm examining the wire to, let's flip this cord. There we go. And it is not punctured the rubber coating, so it's okay. But now we have to get this all through here. And to do that, I'm gonna have to disconnect it. Which, okay. Huh. Not sure why they put tape on this. Maybe I did it. I don't remember. I remember I tried to fix the wire or the limiter, but I couldn't. It just pulled straight out. You know, if you have pets, if you have little kids, you gotta watch this kind of stuff. Because, you know, kids will go, oh, look, this wire, I'll just pull on it. All right, let's see. Come on. Trying to find a live one. Must have the dullest blade right now. There we go. Give her a yank. Oops. I honestly don't know what the proper way is to cover these. Had they been live wires just twisted together with electrical tape, I know that's wrong. But I would have put wire nuts on them to protect them. But they already have their own thing. And this was, let's see, this was made in 1980. So these are okay. Let's see if, you know, oh man, I really don't want to take this apart. Because it looks to me, let me shine a little light on these. They look almost like they have electronics in them. Maybe a regulator. So I really don't want to do this. And I don't want to make two cuts in the wire and just cut the wire off and then reconnect it to these ends. I'm gonna have to research these connectors to see, because there's a little silver, I can flash it, I don't know if you can see it or not. So I'll have to investigate that, and I'll be back. Hey there folks, don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment on what you see here. We've got more episodes coming real soon. Look forward to hearing from you in the comments below.